Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Hey. Hello.
How are we doing, Dave? Are we live yet? Oh, I guess we're live.
There we are.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, welcome everyone to the February 19th meeting of the Northborough Historic District Commission. My name is Bob Light, Chair. And to read some meeting announcements, pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. The order allows the Historic District Commission to meet entirely remotely, so as long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. All members of the Historic District Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. This meeting will not feature public comment. Each vote taken this evening will be conducted via roll call vote. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Leslie
Here.
Harrison. Brian Smith.
Yes.
Brian Swanson.
Here.
Tom Reardon.
Here.
Affirmative.
Oh,
Close enough. And Millie Milton.
and I'm still here.
Okay, great. Thank you all. So first on the agenda is that we have to approve prior minute meetings of our normal meeting, which was on January 15th, and also the special meeting on January 23rd. So I sent everyone the minutes a while ago.
Mhm.
And there was a few edits that were made. Is there anything else? Or are you satisfied with those 2 minutes? So, hearing that there are no other changes, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 15th and January 23rd?
I think you need to do them separately, but so moved. Maybe you can do them, maybe you can do them together. I don't know. I guess there's no reason not to. So moved.
Okay.
We'll find out.
They can come and
Yeah.
arrest us if
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because it's,
the motion police will be out
Yeah.
in full force.
and I'm sorry, did we get a second?
Second.
Great. Okay, Leslie Harrison,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Brian Swanson,
Yes.
Tom Reardon,
Yes for the 23rd. I was out of country on the 15th.
right, thank you, and Millie Milton.
Yes.
And I vote yes. So that passes. I will send in those minutes to the town clerk. So under old business, we have a CPA project status. And the first order is the Brigham Street Burial Ground. So we received a quote from Scott Charpentier. It's a little higher than I thought it was. Remember, we have a little over $7,000 remaining on the CPA project for the beautification of the Brigham Street Burial Ground. And we had talked about putting in 4 granite posts with or without chains. And his quote came back for the 4 and by the way, these granite posts, we said we're going, maybe I should call this up so everyone remembers. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yeah.
So in blue is where they identified where there are probable graves, mostly unmarked, some marked. And that was done by the what was it, ground penetrating X-ray, I believe.
Radar.
Radar, ground penetrating radar. And I went over there and scouted out this area, and we thought that if we put up 4 posts along this line, this north-south line, and have a marker on there, would be a bronze marker or brass marker that would identify that to the east or to the left of this marker are I can't remember how many graves there were, but it's on the marker. So anyway, that was our proposal. So it looks like if we go back to the quotes that Scott got, in order to put 4, and by the way, these granite posts would be about 7-inch square cross section, and they would be the same as the posts that are already there on Brigham Street that have that basically chain off the parking lot area.
Okay.
So if we were to do it with the chains, it would be well over our budget. It would be over $8,000. So it looks like our only choice is going to be the 4 granite posts, and then the question is going to be where along the line they be. My recommendation is that they be spread out along the entire length, but we'll be going to we're scheduled to meet with Scott Charpentier in early April. I think it's either April 9th or April 10th.
Yeah, so everybody's voted at this point except for Brian Smith. So far we have 6 people who can everybody who's voted can make it on April 10th at 2 o'clock, except Millie, but Millie could make it at 3. So I'm hoping maybe Millie, you could still make it a little earlier.
Yeah, is that a Thursday?
It is.
It is. Yeah, I can definitely do earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay. Well, why
Yeah.
didn't you put that
I
on
just,
though?
well, I didn't know if I could put in more than one place to
Yeah, no,
vote.
that's the whole point. No, that's the whole point is everybody puts
Oh.
in everything that works for them.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, great. So everybody can make it on so the 10th at 2 o'clock. That's
Okay.
fabulous.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, I'll send a notification out, but
So at that point, Scott will tell us what is possible with the budget that we have and what his recommendations are. And then at that point, we could go back again. If we have a quorum at the burial grounds, we have to follow
we will.
the public meeting rules. So we cannot do any deliberation while we're there. It's just more of a fact finding. And then we can go back at our April meeting and vote on the design that we wish. Just to show people. So the line for the where the graves are to the west is roughly around at this point, somewhere near the mailbox. And we probably need to do a better. I did that by pacing off the what I could gather from the map, but obviously we probably want to do a better job of that and get a better line. I'm sure Scott could help us with that.
One thing I'd like to keep in mind, since we're not allowed to deliberate there, is I would really ultimately like to have the chains there. So I'd like to be able to space them so that we do have the option to add the chain and maybe do that as one of the CPA funding requests for a future year if other people agree. I think to have the post there and then not have the option to put chain if we regret it, be forward thinking in that regard.
So you're suggesting putting the posts without the chains?
Well, we have no choice, right? We can't afford it with the chains.
We can't afford it with the chains, right?
Right. So, but I'm saying if we're going to put the posts in, even without the chains, that we should be prepared so that if we have a phase 2 of this, separate, the dividing project, that we can go back and easily just add the chains. So I'd like that to be a topic when we meet with Scott.
Yes.
Just one opinion.
Hello. Oh, yes. So I just sent
Oh, we lost you.
to Bob an article or not an article, and web. My internet's not very good. I joined this in Malta from Malta aus. Is that we use our historical posts if possible. They are a piece between what I mentioned, $250 to maximum $500. So we can purchase double amount of posts They come hinged with a ring attached, and the company where we can look to it is Kamosse in Worcester. They deliver it for $165 to the site. I think that might be an
Well, one thing, Rudy, is that
valuable.
the project is kind of led by DPW, and we're trying to match the posts with the posts that are already there. So, I mean, this is something we can bring up, but I think that at this point, we want to go with Scott's recommendation. And in terms of placement, that would be up to us. And I do realize that it's a little more expensive than I had anticipated, but we only have $7,000 left in the budget.
Sure.
Bob, do you know who supplied the posts that are on site now?
I don't know that, because really that whole project was led by DPW.
So there are multiple suppliers of that salt and pepper granite posts.
Hmm.
Svensson, Kamasi Brothers, etc. So I don't know if Scott is open to us doing some comparative bidding.
Um,
There's nothing exotic about this material. They use it for curbs.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think if we can propose a less expensive option,
And
then
I think Leslie's suggestion that we maybe do this over time and maybe do the final layout that we're looking for and then incrementally infill so we can attach with the chains seems like a nice solution to demarcating these additional graves.
Okay, if we did the chains, we would have to put the posts closer together.
That's fine.
Okay.
Or
Oh,
you can keep them farther apart as long as you do it at a controlled manner. So you could do 4 of them and then know, okay, we can fit in 3 between these 2 and 3 between these 2. Just do a plan of it.
oh, so you're saying plan to insert posts too, not just the chain, but actually insert more posts.
Over time,
Yeah.
Well, maybe what we should do, and since we have to wait till April anyway to meet with Scott, is if someone wants to look for alternates, we can bring that to Scott and see what he says.
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
Okay,
And the other thing, there's going to be a break between the street, the fence that's in the front, and then where the first post starts, right? So there'll be a gap in there. Maybe we plan gaps because we're not trying to prevent people from walking over there completely.
Right.
So
Well-
we don't want to chain the whole length. So maybe that saves us money on chains too, is if we have a section that, maybe 3 posts with 2 chains between it, and then a break, and then another 3 posts with 2 chains between, or something like that. I just like to look at those kind of options when we're out there.
okay. Well, let's say we have 4 posts. We could put a chain between 2 posts, put that on the north end, and 2 posts with the chain on the south end.
Mhm.
If we have enough money. You're saying we have enough money to do that now?
But we don't have enough money for the chain, but we
Okay.
have enough money for the posts.
Yeah, but like Tom said, let's plan the whole thing in an ideal world kind of thing, and then
Okay,
piece it together.
because then we're talking about 2 chains as opposed to 3, and that might reduce
If I can,
the cost.
yeah, if I can have a question. So what do
He's cutting out.
Rudy,
what is
Rudy,
meaning
you're impossible to hear.
It's cutting out.
the DW
Rudy, we can't hear you. We
Yes.
can't understand anything you're saying.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Would it be better to just call in?
Tom, the
We have-
alternate
that-
sellers, do they have chains as well? Or is it
I'm
typically-
not familiar with the chains, but
Okay.
I just know that the granite suppliers are plentiful.
Is this
Well, again,
I
Tom,
can,
you mentioned that you were going to speak with Scott,
Yeah.
see if he would if he would entertain an alternate quote. Because he like for example, we were gonna have money, we would at this point have $400 left over for trees, which he tells me would maybe be one tree. So that's another issue, is if we want to get trees on the east side of the grounds, that's going to require more funding.
Where was this? Is this funded from?
I believe originally was CPA funds,
That's what I thought.
but it was CPA funds that I think went to DPW, not to us. We were involved in it, but in some of the designing, but it didn't come out of our budget.
Well, it came out of our CPA, right? When we get CPA funding and
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
right, right. But I
implemented by
think
DPW.
the funds were managed by Scott, by
Yeah,
DPW.
absolutely.
So we'll have to get his buy-in to anything that we do different.
Okay.
Okay. And in terms of what's left over for trees, I was thinking that there was ARPA funding for downtown beautification to plant trees, I believe. And there was some issue, Julianne, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but there was some issue about whether all the trees that were allocated for downtown could be planted because of buy-in by property owners downtown. So I'm just wondering if there was something to think about for the future, is if there was money left over after all the trees are planted downtown, if we could plant the trees at the Brigham Street.
So, Lori Connors received $25,000 for a tree program. Hopefully, it was supposed to be designated for a downtown area, but like you said, you're absolutely right. It depended on, the property owners who would like the tree. But how many trees do you think would that entire area, if you had your ideal arboretum there, how many trees do you think you'd plant?
I'm thinking at least 10.
At least 10. So, I would suggest that you let Lori know that you would like, if possible with that program, you'd be very interested in also receiving some trees.
Right. I think I may have mentioned to her about, that was a while ago. I'll get back to her.
Can I ask you though, is there a water source there?
Sky,
I don't know.
Was that a yes or no?
the sky, rain.
Oh,
I was like, is that something I haven't heard of? I'll look into that.
It's a good
new
point.
irrigation system.
It's a
Yeah.
natural
It's a good point because
irrigation.
For heavens.
But they have the new grass. Maybe they put in an irrigation system? How would they water it?
I don't know. But I've been told that, when you see new trees and they put those bags on them,
Mhm.
that those are very, very effective. So, and where there's a will, there's a way. So,
Okay.
The other thing I'd like to consider before we plant trees is to consider the idea that I had gotten from, I forget who even suggested it, but the like a maze kind of walk, one of those
Oh, I love
meditation
that.
kind of walks or
Yeah.
things like that, which are really can be
Oh.
really quite beautiful. It might be a good use of the space, and maybe you integrate trees into that, but I'd like to see sort of a broader plan
Yeah.
rather than
We
single
just
tree.
happen to
Yeah,
have one
exactly.
here. If you want to
Oh, wow, yeah.
copy the one in the floor of Notre Dame in Chartres.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I think
But
that's
yeah,
a
I think
great
that's
idea,
worth,
Leslie,
having a
though.
landscape architect, or I don't know who would design something like that, but having someone come to take a look at the space and say, what do you think of something? We're looking at for something for passive recreation. Anyway, I think it sort of blends well with the idea of a burial ground too, that it's a very quiet
Yeah,
space, but it's something yeah, so it's just something to think about.
Well, I think that's a great idea.
So I'd like
I
a
think it fits
have a
in
look
with
at the bigger
reflective mood.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have any motions at all on this. We have our next steps planned. And so I think we can move on. Is there anything further on that? Okay. Next would be a quick update on the warped signs.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie?
Yeah, I sent another.
Yeah.
I sent a pretty directed. I don't know if you saw the one I sent a month ago.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and I said, Andy, time to vent some frustration. I think your lack of response is unprofessional and uncharacteristically so. I know you're crazy busy, but we all are. Please provide an update on this as soon as you can. That was January 23rd, no response. Today, I've said nearly another month has passed, no response. Please provide an update on this. So I'm getting, it's really not like him. And I mean, it has been for this project, but getting pretty frustrated.
All right.
So
Well,
that's my update.
okay, we'll move on with that. Just to, I don't know if there's any other further update on the demolition update for 9 and 13 Church Street. It looks like it's moving along pretty quickly.
It is.
And,
I was surprised they were out there today. It was
Right.
that cold.
now when I took a picture this week and it looked like there was two garage doors open, left standing for the fire station. Has that been removed yet, or is it still up there?
Yeah, they've started on the back side of those today. They had to wait for certain inspections to happen along the way. And so far they've done well.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I just drove by. Yeah, they're kind of filled right now. The bays are no room for any fire trucks in there right now.
No,
Filled with debris. So it's pretty cool.
yeah.
Well, that's
So what happens with the R&T building? Is that
You mean that lot?
just out of curiosity? The R&T. Is the
building's
building down?
gone.
R&T.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I saw another building over there. Maybe it was a different one. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're seeing the side of the WCD garage there now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hmm.
Well, we look forward to seeing what happens there.
Yeah.
So do I.
I had mentioned in past meetings about the request for photos for the Julianne. I think it's going to be at the town hall. They're going to have at the town meeting. They're going to do a slideshow.
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone has any, but I did send in some.
Oh, you did great.
Yeah, I sent in a few for the Revolution 250, and Terry Underwood also did.
Great.
And I sent one in for the library historic sign. So
Excellent.
again, I think there's still time. So if anyone has any pictures of volunteer activity, it's mostly volunteer work type things.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's volunteers in action kind of a show.
Well, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, but
Kaylee Olson.
right. Well, she received it and she's all set. So I think we sent in 7 or 8 pictures.
Excellent.
What is this? What is this for? A town
So-
meeting?
Just before town meeting, the 15 or 20 minutes as people are filing in, Kaylee Olson at Cable offered to put together, kind of a slideshow of volunteers working in Northborough. So between all of the committees and commissions, she's received quite a few pictures, Garden Club, Community Affairs, other committees, and
Rotary Club. Rotary hasn't been approached about it, and I think
you
Rotary
know
could
what?
probably.
Actually, I asked Mitch Cohen.
Oh, okay, good.
And
Okay.
so if anybody has any other photos of, say, a great one of an Apple Fest or something like that. And Leslie, if you would reach out to Mitch and say, if you have some, that'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, I don't tend to, but Skip Doyle tends to. But yeah, no, Mitch is on Rotary, so he should be okay. Thanks.
Okay.
He wasn't at our meeting yet. Couldn't make it to our meeting yesterday, so that's probably why.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you.
Oh, can I just say one more thing? So if you even have pictures like of some of the signs that you've done, did you send in those kinds of pictures too of your projects?
I sent it a picture of the Revolution 250 banner
Uh-huh.
in front of George Washington's picture and a few of us. So we were at the Historical Society for a meeting.
Oh, okay. Oh, great, great. Because no one has gotten back to me from the Historical Society, but
Oh.
I'll keep trying.
Okay, yeah. And I think we're going to take another picture next week at our next meeting of Revolution 250.
Well, keep sending them in, please.
Yep. Okay, so now we're at the point of committee representatives update. So the first on the list is CPC. That would be Leslie.
Something new, we're pretty much done. Everything was approved and we're done until town meeting.
Very good. Yep. Master plan implementation, Millie?
Yeah, I got a few things. I know it says the dams. We really haven't done anything. We haven't met since I think it was November or December, so there hasn't been any updates since the last historic district meeting. But I did want to mention that as you know, as far as downtown, there's a meeting next Wednesday at the library at 6:30, and it really is kind of going through the phase, I think it's the phase 1 for the Blake Street project, and just getting a view of what that might look like, and some feedback from residents and neighboring properties.
Did you say what time that was?
6:30.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And it's at the library on Wednesday, the 26th. The other thing is that I did send out a re-notice. I've got a couple of bios that have come in pretty well that just need some tweaking. But I really would like to see people maybe like a resume, put in what they're doing. And I think it's important that we take credit for some of the things that we just consider naturally doing, but they could be significant if you're working on projects, if you're working on historic renovations or doing speeches or anything like that. So I kind of I'm looking for things like, what is your education background, professional background, some actions, some things you've done, and how long you've been members of different volunteer committees and organizations that really do contribute to how this town looks and what we're doing. Some of you are a little bit shy on what your accomplishments are and what your input is, and it's
Well, I know you're talking partially to me, so
yeah,
I'll address it. I mean,
I
my education, my professional, none of it, as I keep saying, and I'm not a good resume fluffer.
That's what I
But
said. Pop it up.
I don't think just saying I've been on boards and committees, they want more tangible experience than that. So for me to just say, hey, I've been on a bunch of town boards and committees is not gonna, I don't think that's worth even.
They do want that, but they don't say that everybody has to have that. And I think that it is okay to put in credit where credit's due. We may not qualify, but I think we've got some pretty good strong candidates. And I wouldn't want to eliminate ourselves because we don't feel qualified. I'd rather they say, hey, you could shore up this and maybe give us some direction about what our next options might be.
So we're skipping ahead because this was under new business.
Oh, sorry.
I had you under, that's okay. While we're doing it, if you Brian Swanson, you don't mind if we skip and we'll finish this subject. So you know that Jen Doherty of the Massachusetts Historical Commission left, and she hasn't had a replacement yet, and she's probably the one that's going to be fielding this application.
Yeah.
So it could be slowed up for that.
Yeah. And I didn't see that she had a forwarding option.
She said in the email that I received that there has not been a replacement yet.
Right.
She's the local historic district coordinator.
Yeah.
And that would be the person that would be handling this. The other thing going back to the resumes and whatnot, I think if you sent them the preservation plan,
yeah,
that's a pretty extensive document, and
Yeah.
it's, from what I understand, not many towns have one as extensive as ours.
Good idea.
If you sent that to them, I think that would go a long way.
Yeah, actually, on that note, I was hoping to get out all of the bits that I've been filling in over the last year or so, but apparently every member needs permission to access the matrix. So I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to do that. I was going to get a hold of Michelle to see if there's a way for me to share, unless you guys can get on the master plan without me sending it to you. You might be able to just access it through your
Well,
own.
you're talking about the master plan or the preservation plan?
Oh, I'm talking about the master plan implementation committee,
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I don't think we have access to that.
which part of their goal was that we did the historic preservation plan. But I jumped a little bit on that because I did want to mention that I would like to get some input and some feedback on what I've already put in, but I couldn't just forward that to you guys. So I can find out from Michelle what's the best way to share what I've done, or if you guys can get individually into the master plan. Is that something?
If you could tell us how to get in, we could try.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know if it's available online.
Well, isn't it on the website?
I don't know. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I
well,
just
I
know where I
remember
get it from.
we're talking about the master plan of 2020, I believe, right?
Yeah.
The town. Yeah, I've seen that. I think I have that.
Okay. So
I think that's
basically,
publicly available.
I think it is too. I just think you can't edit it or which is fine.
Oh, I can't edit it, but I think it's a PDF document. I have it. I think I have it.
And that's what I thought. I was trying to forward you to everybody just the section on the HDC or the, historic and cultural, and
Mhm.
just to show what I've already been plugging in to get some feedback on that. But so if everybody can access it on their own and give me feedback of what I should or shouldn't have in there, if that's possible, maybe for the next meeting.
Okay. Well, did you do anything up to now? You haven't
Oh,
made any changes.
I've been putting stuff in
Okay,
periodically.
but we haven't seen that. Can you send
Well,
us?
it's available on the master plan. I
Oh,
just
okay.
can't
All right, never
get it
mind.
to you guys.
Yeah, I misunderstood. I have the master plan as it was published in 2020. I don't
Oh,
have any,
see, that's why
I don't have
think
access to any changes you made.
to updates on the matrix.
Yeah, no, all we have is, I think whatever's on the website is a PDF.
Okay, so you don't have the
No,
access to the
I have
document
access
that
to
we're
the
working
original.
on.
I have access
Okay.
to the original plan.
All
So
right,
if you
so
figure out a way to get us your changes, we can comment on that.
yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll just see if there's a way I can print it out for me and then download it and then scan it to you guys. Nice kitty cat, Amanda.
Yeah. Like a
Um,
raccoon right from here.
it really does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was trying to do that. I've gotten a few of the bios back, but that's basically my piece.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, moving along, the Northborough Revolution 250 Committee. So the CPC approved the funding for the monument, so that's going to go to town hall, town meeting in April. And that was a little over $10,000, roughly. And it's scheduled to go at the town common. So I need to coordinate with Scott just about the location. He's already picked out the location. Just have to make sure that we have the proper approvals if it is approved at town meeting. I also submitted a warrant proposal for $15,000 to fund activity for fiscal year 2026. That would include things like the Knox Trail celebration and the 4th of July celebration in 2026. So I haven't heard back on that yet, whether it's going to I'm not sure where that, I think that may go to the select board for decisions about what warrants to put out there. So we decided we wanted to put in something to cover us for some of the activity we're doing.
You know, so would putting it as a warrant article for next year would be too late?
Well, we're already,
Not a warrant article, I mean a CPA application.
we could put in a CPA application next year.
Because the advantage of a CPA application is the money's already there. So your chances of it getting it approved under CPA is much greater than just going to town meeting with another expense that,
The problem there is that it's not really a CPA type project because it would be for
oh, that's true. It's just the
various
activity.
events.
It's the activities
It
themselves.
wouldn't be like a monument or
Yeah, okay, yeah,
like a
that's,
sign. So
well, you said some trails. You said some trail markers though, or?
that would be above and beyond. What we're looking at is something to some, parade celebrations, that type of thing.
Okay.
It really isn't.
All right, just, yeah, I would think about
I mean,
anything that can be
keep
covered
in,
under CPA.
we will be thinking about CPC projects next year, but at this point we have nothing in mind.
Okay.
Now we also, as part of the ARPA project that was approved, we've ordered and received the colonial attire. And we're getting a few muskets in there too, so that we're going to be all ready for the Minuteman Day celebration, which is right now scheduled for May 5th. And the other thing is that I think you might have mentioned, remember that I mentioned the witness houses. There's 27 houses in Northborough that were existing at the time of the revolution. And
I've got one of them.
and right.
Yeah, that's so
And
cool.
Brian
Yeah.
is one of them. So Michael has, as part of in the committee, has put together photographs of the historical pictures and the current pictures, and there's going to be a photographic exhibit at the library. I think it's April 16th through the 30th. So we're all set for that. He's done a very good job. And what else?
I'm in a meeting. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have for Revolution 250. Tom, Fire Station Building Committee, is there anything going on?
They did have a site meeting with the qualified bidders on February 12th. The project is now out to bid. The design team is responding to questions from the bidders, and there is a complete set of construction documents at the town administrator's office if you want to look at the drawings or peruse the project manual. But I went through them last week, and a lot of drawings, but they're very well prepared, very clear, very professionally prepared set of construction documents.
Good. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. And then a new topic, the library board. So I want to congratulate Amanda.
Thank you.
Amanda was selected to be on the library board of trustees.
Nice.
So I thought it might be appropriate that you could present anything that might be of historical significance to the committee.
Yeah,
Commission.
so I had my first meeting last week. Really nothing historic yet, just discussing some changes to some policies and things, and that was kind of the brunt of the meeting.
Well, on that note, one of our goals is to get some books donated on the history of Northborough to the library. So maybe that's something we can work with.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Okay, thank you. Okay, so new business. I sent everyone a letter that I sent to the town administration about a proposed bylaw change. Now, I was told I had to get this in early February for consideration for town meeting. So I wasn't able to review it with you, but I did send you the letter that I wrote. I thought now we take a few minutes to discuss it and explain what my thought process was. And this has to do with bylaw 2-36 having to do with historic buildings and demolition delay. So can second. Okay, can everyone see this?
Mhm.
All right. We had discussed this when we were talking about the demolition delay for 9 Church Street. And this is the way that the bylaw was written. If something was 100 or more years old and it was researched by the commission to be historically significant, number one, or two, listed in the National Register of the Massachusetts Historical Commission inventory, which is MACRIS, and the archaeological assets or in the historic district. So those 3 criteria. Now that was where the problem was, is that something listed in MACRIS isn't automatically an historic building. And it really is up to the commission to determine whether it's historically significant or not. And there are reasons why, in fact, if we go back to, I think it was 131 Brigham Street, where it wasn't demolished, but it was under consideration for demolition, and it was voted by the historical commission that it wasn't historically significant because it was so re-renovated that it had no longer any historical significance. Yet it was still listed under MACRIS. So under a strict reading of the bylaw, you would have to say that it was historically significant simply because it was on MACRIS, even though the commission researched it and found out that it wasn't. So I felt that was a problem. And going forward, I felt that really the decision has to be with the commission. And I reached out to Jen Doherty, and just to get her opinion about deleting the reference to MACRIS, the inventory. And she came back and basically says, yes, but in fact, the whole paragraph 2 could be eliminated, because obviously something that's on the historic places, National Register of Historic Places, would obviously be historic, and we would rule as such. But it's also possible that something on the National Register for Historic Places or MACRIS could have already been demolished or changed significantly. So then when it would come to the commission about a demolition delay, there may not have been anything historical about it, because obviously once something is put on MACRIS, it doesn't get taken off, even if it gets demolished. So she felt that the whole paragraph could come out. And then she said that the bylaw seemed to be a little bit outdated, and she sent me a sample bylaw from the Massachusetts Historical Commission that we could use. So I looked at it, and there were some interesting comments in there that related to definition of a significant building. So this was the changes that I proposed. So in the first paragraph A, delete this, which has been determined by the commission. So basically we're keeping the 100 or more years. And then in this paragraph obviously is repetitive, so that could come out. And paragraph 2 could come out because it lists the MACRIS. And then in these 2 new paragraphs are directly from this sample bylaw from Massachusetts. And it is really, I think it's very good. It says the building is importantly associated with one or more historic persons or events, and it gives some more details. And then 2, it's historically or architecturally important in terms of the period and style method of building. So anyway, you can read that on your own, but that to me gives some very specific guidelines that we didn't have before. Before, all we had was researched and found by the commission to be historically significant or architecturally significant. So this basically gives guidelines. And it's a way for us to, in the future, be able to show the work that we did to determine whether something is historically significant or not. Now, the fact, if something is on Macris, it's obviously going to be probably historically significant, and we could go by that, but we would still have our own input. So those are the changes I made. And then there are the basically improved methodology. There's some obviously in background of what the what the benefits would be, the positive impacts, and then from potential challenges which were added later, it says, for example, increase the responsibility of the historical commission. I don't think it really increases the workload of us. It would actually, I think, make things a lot easier.
Bob, did she have any feedback on the 100 years? Is that just pretty standard, or some are less, you had said at one point, right?
Well, I was going to bring that up. Yes. Their guidelines call for 50 years. And I didn't want to make that change yet because I don't think we're ready. We have our inventory goes back to 100 years. It was one of those items that were on our to-do list to consider going back 50 years, but I didn't want to do that at this point.
Well, that seems way too small. I would think
Yeah.
70 or 75 or something like that. 50
Right.
years is I mean,
Right.
our house is almost 50 years old.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Quite, but-
Anything younger than me has got to be young.
50
That's
years
my
opens
criteria.
up a lot of property, and I think that would be burdensome for us at this point.
Yeah, like all of Northgate would follow, right? Wasn't Northgate built more than 50 years ago?
Most houses, some houses
Yeah.
were,
Yeah.
not mine, but some. So
So you're saying that where it says whole or in part 100 or more years, and anything in that darker gray blue is going away?
yeah, that's going away because it's repeated here in 1 and 2.
Okay, got it. Okay, I
Okay.
get it.
So that's why it went away.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 100 or more years, and then you go back to 1 and 2.
I like it.
Okay. So I wanted to run that by you. Now you've already seen those changes. I sent those to you.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard back yet from the town administrator yet as to any questions that they may have. So obviously we'll field those and explain why we're making the change. I'm hoping it goes through and it shouldn't be too controversial, because we're basically following guidelines by the Massachusetts Historical Commission. So, do you think we should need a motion to approve this change?
Yes.
I
I'd
think
like
so.
to look at it first.
Okay, well, I sent you a letter. I
Okay.
can't remember when. So you have a copy.
So we can revisit it for next time, or do you need to vote on it this time?
Well, okay, that would be
Are
March.
you hoping to get this on the warrant? This
Is it
has to go
too late?
It's going to go on the warrant, and I don't know when that's going to be printed up. It'll probably be I don't know if the end of March is too late.
probably 3 weeks before. I think things have to be finalized probably. Let's see.
Yeah. And as I said, I haven't heard back from anyone yet as to whether they're even considering this change.
Hmm.
I could now this document, which came from the town from the staff in the town, So there's some added dialogue of plus or minuses, but basically this first part is what I wrote. I could
So it
send this
doesn't mention anything about significant landscape features that might be associated with historic property of the building. Like White Cliffs is a total package. It's got significant architecture, interiors, and landscaping, which makes it quite unusual.
Right, but I think we'd have enough flexibility in paragraph 1 and 2 to be able to include the grounds,
Okay.
methods of building associated.
I mean, this is specific for a building demolition permit, correct?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It is, yeah. Yeah, the good point. So this would be for a demolition delay. So the grounds surrounding it might not be a consideration. It would be more of the building and the architect.
Mm,
Well, if they were designed by Frederick Law Olmsted, wouldn't that qualify as significant?
Yeah.
Say so.
Do you
Wait.
think that that's something that could be qualified for like a national registry type or a Massachusetts registry? The building, maybe not, but the landscaping might be.
I would consider that the landscaping of a building would be a factor in determining whether that building and its surroundings are historic. Because if you demolish a building, you're also demolishing the landscape. So I think that would be, without having to say that in so many words, I think that would easily be
Part
part of
and
our
parcel.
declaration.
Be interesting to find out if have you seen cases where that's been done, Tom, where the building isn't historically significant, but the landscaping I could see would be? Just curious.
Well, there are examples here in Mass where, like, Henry Hobson Richardson and Frederick Law Olmsted collaborated on the Emerald Necklace in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
the Town Hall Library context there in Northeastern. Those are unusual cases. I don't know how you would significantly parse them separately because
Right.
they were designed together. They were meant to work together. But like you said, this is about buildings, but oftentimes the more significant properties will have collaboration with other artists.
Well, Tom, keep in mind, in any event, without this change, we'd be living with this document.
Right.
And
And
that
so I don't
would
think
be-
this hurts that at all.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
big
doesn't- it
improvement.
doesn't-
I'm
yeah, it
certainly in
doesn't-
favor of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a,
So,
yeah,
I mean, to me, the main thing is we have to get Macris out of this.
right. Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to have problems in the future. And I also felt that the language that I got from the Massachusetts sample made a lot of sense. It gave a little more detail about what our deliberation is.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
I agree.
so I would, at this point, there may, I can send this document to you. There may be time to make modifications over the next couple of weeks if there's minor tweaks. But I would like to see a motion that we approve this change
Mm-hmm.
so that I could proceed with the change on time for the town meeting.
I'm comfortable with that. I would like to see that. I make a motion that we approve the change in the amended language for the demolition delay for the town of Northborough.
Second.
Third,
Okay.
How high can we count?
All right. Thank you. Leslie,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Brian Swanson,
Yes.
Tom Reardon,
yes.
Millie Milton,
Yes.
Amanda Millette.
Yes.
And okay, that's the voting members, and I vote yes. Thank you all. So that is passed. And I will keep you posted as to any changes or feedback I get about that proposal.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Next
one
on the
thing-
agenda,
One thing I wanted to mention, since it looks like Rudy, we can at least see him better. Because he
Yeah.
got cut off before,
Yes.
maybe we can hear him
Yes.
better. Yeah, no, we wanted to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
something before.
I moved inside.
Ah, there we go.
yeah,
Anyway, I just wanted to,
yeah, I just got a new router this week too, so I'm hoping my internet's better. Next on the agenda is what is this next on the agenda? Oh, the update to the master plan, which we've already covered.
I sort of did that. Yeah.
Okay, we've
Um,
already done that.
Can I ask something though? I do have a project in mind that might be related to that. It's on the master plan. Is we get, if somebody would be interested, our street names for historic street names was last done in 1983, and I think it could use a really nice update. So if somebody's looking for a project that would sort of maybe eliminate some of the duplication, or just instead of a hand cross out, have a real cross out of a name, or just delete the name.
That you're talking about the 1983 memo, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
and I couldn't find the original of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
If anybody's interested in that project, that might be a good thing to do.
keep in mind that that was only a suggested names, that basically the bylaw doesn't even refer to that memo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something to consider, because if someone were to come to us with a name, and if it had some historical significance, whether it was on that memo or not, we would still likely approve it.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying is that if somebody came up with a name that's on this list today, it wouldn't be current. It may have already been taken. And there's some duplicates, like the name is Gamwell, but we have a Sam Gamwell Drive, so you really wouldn't want to duplicate that. So in order
That's-
to
that's true.
eliminate duplications, or even propose a name that's already taken, it could use an update.
That's true. It's a worthy project. We'll bring it up next
Yeah,
meeting.
if anybody has some spare time and wants to find some fun names.
Can I ask a question here? Do historic district commissions ever hire like summer interns to do that kind of?
I don't remember, did we ever have one?
Not that I'm aware of. I know we've had people that may have volunteered to do some projects like rehab and painting and from the tech. But administrative stuff, I'm not sure. But maybe,
The Revolution 250 just met with the Algonquin Honor Society, and they're actually going to be doing projects for us. So that's a possibility. Algonquin has various honor societies, and they look for outside projects. And
Or the other thing is that some of the scouting organizations are looking for, badge and merit opportunities.
yeah, we've reached out to the scouts as well. So that's a good point, that some of these projects could be. Juliana, does the town have any? Do they hire interns for purposes like this?
I don't know of any in our town, but I think Westboro has hired interns, maybe Worcester, but it just seems like we have to start in general cultivating
Mhm.
young people to, take an interest in in government and town volunteer organizations. And I've always liked that idea of interns, whether it's, an official intern or a high school student looking for a project or something like that. It just,
Well, I'll follow this with the National Honor Society at Algonquin, because they're going to pick up a few projects for us in the Revolution 250, and we'll see how things go. And maybe for the fall, with the new Honor Society, we can come up with something. But there are a
Yeah.
lot of these little projects that would be interesting.
Keep
to take.
a tally of projects that might be suitable for, that type of help.
You know. Well, the street naming memo would be a worthy project, I think.
and interesting.
Yeah, I was kind of looking through and like, okay, that's interesting.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay. The next on the agenda, and I don't think we can spend too much time on this, is the Trinity Church Main Street Historic District. This is going to be a little tight for us, I think, in the next month or two, especially with all the other things going on. But I was looking for, again, we're looking for a volunteer to take a lead on this. I had sent everyone the I think it was 1972 document, which was a preliminary report of the Historic District Study Committee.
Yeah.
And that covered all of Main Street. Now, I think our proposal would be pared back a little bit. It would include the Trinity Church and several properties next door or across the street. But at this point, I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but I'd like someone to consider if you have interest in running this. I think it would really be good for us, I think, and the town to have another historic district around Main Street. There's some very historic buildings down there, and I think it's appropriate. It's something but it is a lot of work, and it's something that we need. Probably in the next 2-3 months, we should form a study committee in order for us to present it to select board and get it onto the town meeting for 2026. First, obviously, the report has to go into the Massachusetts Historical Commission for their approval, and we have to have approval by select board.
Rudy, you're not going to jump in on this?
I'm thinking, but
I know. Yeah.
thank you.
It's like, this is
I don't want to
exactly
put
what you've already done.
I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but
No pressure.
let's.
Okay.
We're running long tonight, but I want to maybe we'll bring it up again next meeting.
You don't have to, Bob. Billy will do it for you.
No, but thing with Bob, I would like to meet you and that you introduce me maybe to the procedure at all. So maybe some things I can have then better clue what I can do and what not, for example. So in terms of procedure and introduction, how you proceed things, which the public works, for example, that was not known to me, and I don't know how much we can deal with them. For example, and with historical district, I might have my own interest to establish one other one.
That's
yes.
okay.
And you have the document I sent you, the 1972 document.
I hope, yes. I have to check. Yes.
Yeah, we'll get together, have coffee sometime, and go through.
Thank you.
Over the next couple months with the Revolution 250, there's a lot of activity going on, so I'm kind of swamped on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda, Amanda, is businesses in historic buildings, downtown businesses.
I haven't even touched the project yet. I really need to get on that because it will be really fascinating once I do it. But yeah, I haven't touched it yet.
That's fine. No, it's a worthy project. I look forward to that. But again, there's other higher priorities. So at your own pace.
Thank you.
They're not going anywhere soon.
And next on the
Beginning of
agenda
Marty
is,
Billy.
next on the agenda is certified local government, which we've already covered.
Yep, sorry.
That's good. Okay, and then other issues before the commission. I have a few things to discuss that are not on the agenda. Anyone have anything else that I missed tonight?
I don't think so.
Okay, I mentioned Jen Doherty leaving MHC, so I'll keep you posted on that if anything changes. It was interesting. Has everyone seen some of the articles about White Cliffs that showed up in the UK Daily Mail
Yeah,
and the New York Post, and we suddenly became very famous.
And they made it sound like they actually interviewed like Mitch and folks when they really didn't.
no.
Oh, is that? Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting article. Some of it was favorable, some not so much.
Well, it's, if it's getting attention to the building and it might have the potential, it
Yeah,
has the
no, I
potential
know,
to do
especially
more good than harm. So I think it's great.
yeah, no, definitely. I
March 28th, let me mention that Norm and I are going to present our research on the White Cliffs at the Historic Society.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
what was the date on that?
It'll be Norm's going to cover the site, the background of DB Wesson, and so forth, and I'm going to go over Seabury, the architect, and the Herter Brothers, the interior designers.
Oh, great. What's the date?
Good.
What
March
date?
28th, I
Okay.
believe.
What time is it? Or can you send it out, Tom?
7 p.m.
Sorry,
Is
what?
that the Friday
7
meeting?
p.m.
7 p.m. Okay.
That's a Friday meeting, right?
Yeah, it's their monthly meeting. So they do their business and then they let the old guys come out and do their song and dance.
Yeah, look forward to that. I got an inquiry about 333 Howard Street that's up for sale. It's a historic building that was unfortunately the building where that house party was, the house. And the only question was about whether there was any restrictions on renovation, not demolition, just renovation. And it's outside of the historic district. So I said there really was nothing for us outside of making sure that the building department was involved.
Is that the Frank Lloyd Wright inspired house?
Yes,
It's a
Hmm.
beauty.
It really
is.
is.
That really should be protected.
yes, and what I
It falls
gathered from
outside.
what I gathered from the realtors, they were planning to just do renovations.
Yeah.
Nothing serious, but
So you're saying it was up for sale or up for renovations?
up for sale, I believe.
Okay.
Well, it's got a kind of a checkered recent history.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
also
affecting things.
okay. I also received a request of possible demolition for 105 Lawrence, which is over by Route 9. It's
Oh, I know where that
it's
is. Yeah.
just west of the Walmart.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to use it for putting in a septic system of some sort. Anyway, the house was built in 1949. So I was just basically explaining that the demolition delay bylaw wouldn't affect us, that it would have to go through the building department. I just wanted to, make people aware of that.
Hey, Tom, when you say it's a Frank Lloyd Wright house, it's inspired. That was not actually Frank Lloyd Wright.
Correct. I believe the architect had worked in Frank Lloyd Wright's office at one point.
Hmm.
If you know the builder, Ron Aspro, he has done work in that house. And he says the millwork inside is quite remarkable. I have not seen it.
And from the outside, it's spectacular.
Yeah. It's that prairie style, very low, exposed stone and wood.
I think they have another house, like a guest house.
Yeah, on the sort of the front of the property, there is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Well, hopefully renovation will be an improvement as opposed to doing anything drastic. I don't know if I mentioned this, but remember the planning board meeting that talked about the changes to the scenic way on Reservoir Street? And at that meeting, they did get invoke conditions to maintain and renovate the stone wall. So the stone wall is not going to be disrupted. In fact, it's kind of overgrown right now, and they're going to basically clean it up and make it more
You can
presentable.
hardly see it. Yeah.
You can't see it. So anyway, but that's one of the conditions for the renovation on the scenic way, and that's good news, I think, for us. I had nothing else. Anything else before the commission?
I have a question. The Revolution 250, do you have do you have on a website a list of the activities and dates, or?
Yes, the website is actually tied to the Historical Society website.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you the link.
Oh, thank you.
And in fact, I thought I sent it to the select board already, but I'll do it again. It has there's also links to the YouTube video. We have 3 videos up right now.
Uh-huh.
It's on YouTube. So if you were to go to YouTube and scan for Northborough Revolution 250,
Uh-huh.
you would see the three videos. But I will send you the link to the website, and that also has a link to the videos.
Great, thank you. Are you ever going to do like a big movie night where everybody can watch the videos?
Good idea. I hadn't thought about
Big
that.
premiere.
Bob,
Right.
there's one nitpick about one of those, which it has the Maney family mispronounced when it talks about the statue.
Oh, right. The Minuteman statue.
Yeah.
How did they pronounce it?
I forget. It's been a while since I watched it. Probably Manny would be the only other, I would think that. But as I recall, it was mispronounced. So.
Yeah, there was probably a few other errors in some of the videos, but I thought they did a pretty good job with the.
Oh, absolutely. No, they're
Black
very
TV,
cool.
yeah. And we have about 10 more in process.
Wow.
It'll be a long movie night.
You could do it on the town common.
True.
Good. Well, with one of our celebrations, it might be even possible when we do the. Actually, that's a very good idea, because when we have that library show of the witness houses, we might be able to show the videos there. I will bring that up.
How would you project it, Tom? Just like get a portable screen, or?
Yeah, I see people having birthday parties using these large screens and projectors with a bunch of kids in the yard. And so I figured, well, the old folks could enjoy it too.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Okay, well, if there's hearing nothing further, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Well, second.
Second, okay. Leslie,
Neighbor.
Brian Smith,
Brian Smith.
you approve our adjournment?
Yes. Approve
Good.
our adjournment.
Okay, Brian Swanson,
Yes.
Tom Reardon,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
Millie,
Yep.
and I vote to adjourn.
And Rudy?
Thank you all.
Yes.
Oh, I apologize. Next meeting is March 19th.
Much fun.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you all.
Thank
you.
you.
I guess.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bob. Good night.